Welcome to Rated G. And today we'll be looking at 12 big hits not sung by the lead singer. I'm Julia. Many bands don't have even one good singer, but some are lucky enough to have more than one. Think about the Cars, the Commodores, or the Beatles. Each of these bands had more than one hit single, and different members of the band took turns singing lead. But sometimes, a band gives a chance to a member who isn't usually the lead singer. Sometimes it's even the drummer, and sometimes the song that comes out of it is a huge hit, maybe even bigger than anything else the band has ever done. In this day and age of careful brand management by corporate A&R guys, this kind of fluke hit doesn't happen very often. However, here are 12 times when a band's hierarchy was thrown off and a popular single was sung by someone other than the usual lead singer. Starting with Number 12, Grand Funk Railroad, We're an American Band, 1973. Grand Funk Railroad and Humble Pie had a late-night argument in a bar in Baton Rouge about whether British rock or American rock was better. Grand Funk drummer Don Brewer talked about Jerry Lee Lewis, Fats Domino, Little Richard, and Elvis Presley, and then he said, "We're an American band." Once Brewer calmed down, he turned that nationalist feeling into a song. When the band went into the studio to record it with producer Todd Rundgren, Brewer did the vocals instead of the band's usual singer, Mark Farner. The song went to the top of the charts and became Grand Funk Railroad's signature song. Number 11, The Eagles, Take It to the Limit, 1975. This country ballad, which was mostly written by original Eagles bassist Randy Meisner, reached number 4 and was one of the band's biggest hits. It was the only Eagles single on which Meisner sang lead vocals. Glenn Frey said, "It was our first gold single, and it might have been the only one. All I can remember is how happy I was for Randy. We had tried, but failed, to get him to write or give us something that could be a hit single. Take It to the Limit was the last song we wrote that worked." 2 years later, Meisner and Frey had a big fight backstage in Knoxville because Meisner was sick and didn't want to play the song's high notes. Meisner quit the band after the fight. Number 10, Kiss, Beth, 1976. Kiss's biggest single was a slow song with strings and vocals by drummer Peter Criss. Criss said, "On the day we recorded it, producer Bob Ezrin had the New York Philharmonic put on tuxedos. Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley were in the control room when we went to the record plant to record the vocals. I'll never forget how they looked at me as if it were a big joke. Bob knew that I couldn't get in, so he threw them out. They left, I did it in 5 tries, and it was beautiful." Number 9, The Miracles. Love Machine, 1976. Smokey Robinson may make you think of The Miracles, but after their lead singer left, they made an album called City of Angels about a couple from a small town who moved to LA to become stars. After they get together, the boyfriend calls himself a love machine over a supple disco beat. With lead vocals by Billy Griffin, the single went to number 1 and stayed on the Hot 100 for 28 weeks, longer than any other Miracles song. Number 8, Blue Oyster Cult, Don't Fear, The Reaper, 1976. Don't Fear, The Reaper was Blue Oyster Cult's biggest hit, even though most top 40 songs don't have lyrics about death. Even though Eric Bloom was the lead singer, Don't Fear, The Reaper, was written and sung by the band's lead guitarist Buck Dharma, aka Donald Roser, who also wrote and sang Burnin' For You, the band's second biggest hit, years later. Number 7, The Sex Pistols, No One Is Innocent, 1978. By the time they released their 5th single, Johnny Rotten and Sid Vicious had already left the band. But Steve Jones and Paul Cook went to Brazil and recorded this song with Ronnie Biggs, a Brit who is known for his role in the Great Train Robbery of 1963. He was living in Rio to avoid extradition. Biggs wasn't a great singer, he said he would have done better if he hadn't been drunk, but the song was in the Great Rock and Roll Swindle, and the single went to number 10 in the UK, which was a surprise. Number 6, Squeeze, Tempted, 1980. Chris Difford and Glenn Tilbrook, who wrote songs for Squeeze, wrote Tempted. It was sung by Paul Carrack, a keyboardist who only stayed with the band for one album. Later, as a solo artist and with Mike and the Mechanics, he had hits. The group's usual lead singer, Tilbrook, and an almost unrecognizable Elvis Costello both sang a few lines in the second verse, who produced the track. The song, which was Squeeze's first to make it onto the American charts, became the band's most famous hit. Number 5, Toto, Africa, 1983. As a group of top-notch studio pros, Toto didn't put the singer in the spotlight, but usually Bobby Kimball and Steve Lukather did the singing. On their only number 1 song, though, co-writer David Paich sang it. He said that the song threw the band off. Bobby and Lukather both tried it, but it had a lot of words to say in a short amount of time. I call it a Elton John mouthful. Lots of words to get in a very short amount of time. So I ended up singing it because I could spit out these words fast enough. Number 4, Night Ranger, Sister Christian, 1984. Unless you are related to the band by blood or marriage, you probably don't remember that Night Ranger had 5 1980s top 40 singles that weren't called Sister Christian. These include When You Close Your Eyes and Don't Tell Me You Love Me. Sister Christian, a power ballad written by drummer Kelly Keji for his younger sister Christine and a big hit, was sung by Keji and is the only Night Ranger song that people know. Number 3, Heart. These Dreams, 1986. And Nancy Wilson had a clear way of splitting up their work. Nancy played guitar and sang lead. But in 1986, after a few years without a hit, Martin Page and Bernie Taupin gave them 2 songs they had written together. They chose These Dreams and had Nancy sing it, even though she was sick. It was Heart's first number 1 single, and it had a rough sound. The song Heart didn't pick was We Built This City, which Starship turned into a huge hit. Number 2, The Georgia Satellites, Battleship Chains, 1986. Dan Baird sang lead for the Georgia Satellites, who were best known for the song Keep Your Hands to Yourself. He also wrote most of the songs for the band. He brought a catchy song that Terry Anderson had written for Baird's previous band, the Woodpeckers, to the Georgia Satellites, aka the Fabulous Knobs. Battleship Chains got to number 76 on the US charts and number 44 in the UK. It was covered by Warren Zevon and R.E.M. on the Hindu Love Gods album, which made it a memorable song. But when the Satellites did it, the band's hairy lead guitarist Rick Richards sang the lead. Number 1, Oasis, Don't Look Back in Anger, 1996. For Oasis's second album, What's the Story, Morning Glory, songwriter Noel Gallagher gave the band's lead singer, his younger brother Liam, 2 songs that could have been big hits. He told him to choose one to sing because he was going to sing the other one himself. Liam chose Wonderwall wisely, leaving Noel with this power ballad, which went to the top of the charts in the UK. Noel got used to singing lead vocals on the spot when his brother Liam was sick or having a bad day. This happened most famously during the band's entire 1996 MTV Unplugged show, where Liam sat in the balcony and heckled. Check out these other clips from Rated G, and be sure to subscribe and hit the bell to get updates on our newest videos. Thanks for watching this episode. I'm Julia. 4 of Rated G.